A handshake is more than just a greeting. It is also a message about your personality and confidence level. In business, a handshake is an important tool in making the right first impression. The handshake most of the time is the only physical contact allowed in a business relationship. We often allow impression based on the handshake to determine the future of a business relationship. Handshake begin when we make eye contact. Once eye contact is made, the hand is extended. Do's in handshake. First, number 1. Begin with an oral introduction of yourself. Before extending your hand, introduce yourself. Extending your hand should be part of an introduction, not a replacement for using a voice. Extending your hand without a voice greeting may make you appear nervous and overly aggressive. Number 2. Pump your hand only 2 to 3 times. A business handshake should be brief and to the point. Consider a handshake a short sound bite, not a lengthy engagement. Holding on for more than 3 to 4 seconds can make the other person feel uncomfortable. Number 3. Shake from your elbow. If you shake from your shoulder using your upper arm instead of just your forearm, you risk jolting the handshake and your partner. The idea is to connect, not overbearing. Remember. Number 4. Do not use a forceful grip. A handshake should be a friendly and respectable gesture, not a show of physical strength. An uncomfortable handshake is never a pleasant experience for anyone. Imagine yourself opening a door and use about the same level of grip in your handshake as well. It should be firm but not forceful. Number 5. Avoid offering a fish hand. A limp hand is never a good idea when it comes to business handshake. Do return the grip, but do not get into a power struggle, as discussed earlier. Even if the other person is squeezing your hand, you don't need to do the same. You can always show a smart, firm grip for 2 to 3 seconds. Number 6. Forget lady fingers. This is not a southern cotillion. This is business. Offering only your fingers to shake may be appropriate in some social settings, but in business settings, you are an equal, not a lady. Extend your entire hand and be sure to grasp using your entire hand as well. One hand is better than 2. Avoid the urge to holding with 2 hands. It is always better in business introductions to use only one hand, that is your right hand, for the handshake. The use of 2 hands with strangers is seen as intrusive and too personal. In fact, a 2-handed shake is called the politician's handshake because it appears artificially friendly and when used on people you barely know. So avoid doing that. Shaking a sweaty hand. If you shake hands with someone who has sweaty palms, do not immediately wipe your hands on your clothing, handkerchief or tissue. This will further embarrass the other person who is probably already aware that they have sweaty hands. You can discreetly wipe them on sometime after you are out of the sight, and you can always wash them. 9. Ending a handshake. End the handshake after 3 to 4 seconds or after 2 to 3 pumps. 1, 2, 3. In order to avoid creating an awkward moment, your shake should end before the oral introduction exchange does. Without conversation taking place during the entire handshake, it becomes too intimate and can feel more like hand-holding rather than a shake. Think about the thousands of people you meet, and each time you shake hands, usually this is the first time two humans touch. You might not think it is significant until you ask around, as I did once. And you will be surprised to find out that business people, friends, acquaintances, and are remembering those bad handshakes years on. So, in an instant, we are making impressions that have a very long shelf life based on a brief but important handshake. Don'ts of a business handshake. Number 1. Eye contact. Make sure you are making eye contact with the person with whom you are shaking hands and avoid distractions. I have seen men shaking hands with a corporate manager while the eyes tracked a beautiful woman walking by. Don't do that, please. The eye contact should be one-to-one, not your hand here and eyes rolling around finding something else. Number 2. Wet hands. Before you shake hands, make sure you dry them first. There is nothing wrong with having a handkerchief in your hand as you wait, or wiping them on the back of the leg just before you shake hands. It is absolutely fine as long as you maintain your palm dry while shaking hands. Number 3. Dominant handshaking. Twisting the other person's hand so that yours is superior and to let the other person know you are in charge is just rubbish. Don't do it, and if someone does it to you, just say, "Let's do it properly again without the theatrics this time." The only thing this kind of handshake achieves is it leaves with a permanent negative impression. And it makes you wonder just how much of a social advert this person seems to be. Number 4. Probing handshake. The probing handshake is where the other person probes you with their index finger, something like this. They press their index finger against the inside of your wrist. It leaves the most negative of feelings, and I have had managers, CEOs and HR personnel tell me that for them it is the worst form of handshake, and trust me, no one appreciates it. Number 5. Politician's handshake. This is the handshake where you use two hands to cover up or cup the other person's hands. No one likes it in business settings. It is too personal and you have to earn the right to do it. If you feel you need to touch more, shake the hands normally, and with your other hand, you may touch the forearm of the other person, as so shown in the figure.